What's going on YouTube? Sean here. So today I want to talk about my Suhr Reactive Load IR and whether it's still relevant in 2020 and why there's no way I'll be selling this thing. This is not so much of a review because there's loads of other reviews of this online. It's more a demonstration and me telling you what I like and dislike about the reactive load. Which brings me to the reason why I made this video. I didn't make it to do just simply another review of the reactive load. The reason why I made this is so that I can demonstrate all 16 presets. Because when I was thinking about buying the Suhr Reactive Load, there was not one single video that went through all 16 presets. So how did I end up deciding to buy this thing? Well, the reason being was that I got a little bit tired of not being able to use my tube amp. So I bought my PRS MT15 first and then decided that I wanted to be able to use it in conjunction with a load box to make things a lot quieter. I live in an apartment, I can't have everything going full volume, so I knew that I needed some type of load box. Since I'm new to IRs and I've not had a lot of experience using IRs before, I decided to go with the Suhr Reactive Load because the benefit of using this as opposed to other boxes is because it has the 16 built-in IRs, and this means that you can go and play out live with just this without any need for a cab. I love Mozilla Cab, but it's so loud, it's unbelievable. I can't imagine how loud a 4x12 would be in here. I can't turn my amp up more than 5%, so this is where this comes in perfect. Tube tone, but bedroom level noise. There's a lot of hype around the 2-notes captor, which I haven't used, and everyone's raving about the aux box as well. However, for me, this was the perfect match. I wanted something that was versatile regarding IRs, so I didn't need to take my cab out when I'm gigging, unless I wanted to of course, and be able to have something a little bit more portable and not as backbreaking. Another feature I really like about the Suhr Reactive Load IR is that you can put your own custom IRs on here as well. So if you find that you don't really like the IR sounds, which I think are relatively good, then you can always pop your own ones on here instead. So let's get straight to the sounds because I don't want to hold you too long talking about what I like and dislike. What I'll do is I'll leave that till later in the video. To make this as transparent sounding as possible, I'm going through my PRS MT15 into the Suhr Reactive Load IR, which then goes straight into my audio interface and then Logic Pro X. I'm not going to be putting delays and reverbs to make the sound more lush. I'm going to just have it dry, direct into Logic. Bear with me because I will be playing the same type of riff over and over and over again, but this is only so that you can truly hear how each different preset sounds. All the amp settings are staying exactly the same between the presets, nothing's changing. So what I aim to do in this video is show you all 16 impulse responses in clean and distortion. For timestamps, so you're not wasting your time, they're at the bottom here. So we're going to go through the clean sounds first, and then all the distorted tones with all 16 IRs. I'm also going to pop a text in the video with a little summary of why I particularly like those IR sounds. Okay, so what did you think? Did the IRs hold up? Let me know your opinion. As I said, I'm new to IRs. So, things I like and dislike about the Suhr Reactive Load. To be honest with you, for the most part, all I can say is really positive things about it. It is a little bit pricey, but for what you get with the additional IRs, I think it's way worth it. As I said before, it's really great because you can just take this out and leave your cab at home. Also, I like how swift it is when you're changing between IRs. Another thing that I really like about the Suhr Reactive Load that wasn't really demonstrated when I was looking at reviews a while back was that it's got a really nice blue sparkle to it. It's got a sparkle effect depending on where the light is, which is just a really nice feature for something that could seem a little bit boring in comparison to a new guitar or a new amp. Another bonus is that it has the IR 1/4" jack at the back if you want to use the IR sounds, but it also has an unfiltered jack as well, so that you can record straight into your computer, so then you can decide what IR sounds you want later. I also love some of the switches at the very front, such as the high cut and the signal boost. So ultimately it does exactly what it says on the tin, and I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. Okay, so a couple of things that you need to be aware of with this. When I first bought this Reactive Load, all I could hear was the unprocessed sound, meaning without the impulse responses. The reason for this is that I didn't realise, and it didn't make it clear in the booklet, is that if you're using a 1/4" jack to 1/4" jack to connect your speakers to your audio interface, then you're going to only hear the unprocessed sound. So what you need to do, and what took me ages to figure out with this thing, is that you need to connect an XLR to 1/4" jack, the 1/4" jack going into your audio interface, and then the XLR end going into your monitors. Once I figured that out though, it was perfect. You have to be really careful with this thing when you're taking it out and about. As you can see here, and I'm a really careful person, there's a dent in the corner. I've always been really gentle with it and put it down on the ground softly if it's in a backpack, for instance. Whereas you can see here that it's just dented. And that's just a real shame. I can't say it's a criticism of the design, and I can't say it's a criticism of Suhr, because it's probably just me. I've done it and not realised at some point, but it just is a little bit annoying. So you do have to be really, really careful with it. It is a sensitive piece of gear. So what I recommend is you get something that's padded to really protect it. Another thing that I forgot to mention, and it's not so much a criticism, you just got to be aware of it, is that the recorded tone does sound slightly different to the tone you hear when you're performing. So make sure that when you're doing takes, you listen back to it through your speakers. It's a real tiny thing, you don't notice it that much, but there is a subtle difference in tone. It's not for the worse, it still sounds really good. It's just something to be careful of. So that concludes my review of the Suhr Reactive Load IR. I would never sell this thing. I'm really happy with it, really pleased. It was a great purchase, expensive but reliable and totally worth it. Would I pay more for the aux box? No. Would I pay less for the 2-notes torpedo? Not really. Anyway, I hope you liked this little demonstration. Please consider subscribing, show some love to my channel if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.